The Sahara Desert is a graveyard of civilizations. It is a place where heat, sand, and time erase everything. Yet, in the heart of this unforgiving landscape, one empire did not just survive. It thrived for 1,000 years. It outlasted the Middle Ages. It saw the rise and fall of European powers. It was a beacon of stability in an ocean of sand. They were masters of trade, scholars of the highest order, and home to the most terrifying cavalry Africa had ever seen. Welcome to the Millennium Empire. Welcome to Kanem-Bornu. To understand this empire, you must understand its heart, Lake Chad. Today, the lake is shrinking, but 1,000 years ago, it was a massive inland sea, a junction point connecting North Africa, the Nile Valley, and the forests of the south. Around the 9th century AD, the Kanem Empire rose on the eastern shores of this lake. They were the gatekeepers of the Trans-Saharan trade. If you wanted to move salt from the north or gold and ivory from the south, you paid tribute to the Mai, the king of Kanem. They became incredibly wealthy, forging diplomatic ties that stretched as far as the Ottoman Empire in Spain. But wealth in the Sahara attracts predators. To hold this land, they needed more than gold. They needed steel. The secret to Kanem-Bornu's longevity was its military machine. While much of the world thinks of African warfare in terms of infantry, Kanem-Bornu was an empire of the horse. They imported larger breeds from North Africa and developed a warrior aristocracy that rivaled the knights of feudal Europe. These weren't light skirmishers. These were the tanks of the medieval Sahel. Both horse and rider were encased in thick, quilted cotton armor, and sometimes chainmail imported from the north. This armor was incredibly effective, able to absorb arrows and sword slashes. When thousands of these heavy cavalrymen charged across the open plains, the ground shook. They were virtually unstoppable. The empire reached its absolute zenith in the 16th century under the legendary ruler, Mai Idris Alooma. Alooma was not just a warrior, he was a military visionary. He realized that warfare was changing. The world was entering the age of gunpowder. Instead of resisting this change, he embraced it. He established diplomatic relations with the Ottoman Empire and imported Turkish musketeers to train his army. Imagine this combined force. The traditional, thundering charge of heavy armored cavalry, supported by the terrifying crack and smoke of muskets. Under Idris Alooma, the empire expanded in every direction. He standardized the laws based on Islamic scholarship, built brick fortifications, and pacified the trade routes, making travel safe across thousands of miles of desert. It was a golden age of security and prosperity. But the most incredible part of this story isn't their golden age. It's their survival. Empires die. It's a fact of history. When their capital falls, the empire usually vanishes. In the late 14th century, Kanem faced a catastrophic invasion from rival tribes. They lost their homeland east of Lake Chad. Their capital was sacked. By all rights, this should have been the end. Instead, the entire ruling structure, the court, the army, the scholars, executed a massive, strategic migration. They moved around the lake to the western side, into what is now northeastern Nigeria. They didn't die. They relocated. They established a new center, Bornu, and rebuilt the empire stronger than before. This transition from Kanem to Bornu proved a resilience almost unmatched in human history. The legacy of Kanem-Bornu wasn't just warfare. It was intellect. As an Islamic empire, the Mais were patrons of deep learning. Their capital became a center of scholarship that attracted students from across Africa and the Arab world. They built vast libraries and Quranic schools. For centuries, if you met a scholar in Cairo or Mecca who hailed from Bornu, you knew you were speaking to someone of immense education. They proved that the Sahel was not the edge of the Islamic world, but a vibrant intellectual hub within it. The Kanem-Bornu Empire finally fell in the late 19th century, a victim of colonial pressures and internal strife. But think about that run. From the 800s to the 1890s, while England was fighting Vikings, Kanem was rising. While Columbus was sailing to the Americas, Bornu was at its peak. While Napoleon was marching across Europe, they were still holding the Sahel. They are a testament to the fact that enormous, complex, and powerful states flourish in the heart of Africa, defining their own destiny for 1,000 years.